so like I said, welcome to retreat. This retreat is called Face to Face, the real presence. So we're going to talk a lot about how God is a real presence in our own lives. And this talk is about specifically us and our strengths and our weaknesses. So the world we live in today is filled with distractions, expectations, and pressures that can sometimes make it challenging to stay true to ourselves. However, God wants us to be genuine and honest with ourselves, and He loves us unconditionally, even when we struggle. This weekend, we want you guys to leave those distractions, expectations, and pressures at the door. We're asking you to open your hearts and have an authentic experience with each other, with the adults, and ultimately with God. We all have difficult roots that we have to take to develop our relationship with God. I'm not going to trip over a cord. But first things first, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to look at our own weaknesses and our own strengths. This can be challenging because for many of us, we focus too much on one or the other, our weaknesses or our strengths. We want to be present, the best versions of ourselves, but we struggle to know what that is. In a world where we are constantly searching for approval, those likes, those follows, we are posting all of these beautiful parts of our lives while hiding the difficult realities, only showing our human sides when we think, it might get us a couple extra likes, a couple cry emojis or whatever on a status update or something. I know this because I do this. My life is not perfect, and things I present to the world are not happy, shiny moments all the time. I get a lot of compliments on my beautiful, tiny humans who light up all of my social media, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, your family looks like they're having so much fun and doing all these fun things. I'm like, yeah, in the picture. Like 2 seconds before that, my daughter was like poking my son. My son was like, oh my God, stop touching me. Mom, why don't I just smile? I don't want to smile. Like all of these things just to get like one photo where they look like normal humans and not like the demons they are most days. It's even with my husband and I, like he invariably like does a face. He has a picture face, which is a non-smiley face. And my husband has like a huge beard and looks very aggressive when he just don't smile. So it's like me smiling really cute and then him looking like he's going to like murder me. These are the moments of like discussion that you're then arguing with your spouse just for that cute moment, like that cute picture. I just want a cute picture. No, it never happens that way. It always takes forever. But the world doesn't know that. They just saw the cute picture and then liked all the things. And I was like, oh yes, I did it in one shot. No. When it comes to strengths and weaknesses, we see one is better than the other, but we have to have both. We actually showcase both. It's not a bad thing to acknowledge our strengths by any means, or to show the good things in our lives. It is just as important as recognizing our weaknesses, though. By embracing our strengths, we thank God for the gifts He has given us, and we can use these gifts to serve others. Just as it is essential to remember that we are all a work in progress and have areas that we can grow in. Being honest about our weaknesses allows us to be humble and to recognize our need for God's grace. It also allows us to grow in virtue as we work to overcome our challenges. I want you guys to close your eyes. Think about your own strengths and weaknesses. What areas do you excel in? How can you use these gifts to serve God and others? What are some places where you struggle? How can you invite God into these struggles to help you grow? You can open your eyes. When we have identified the strengths, the gifts God has given us, we must also identify how we can use those gifts for others, as well as taking stock of our weaknesses and identifying how we can grow in these areas that we struggle in. We each have unique gifts and talents that are given to us, and there are weaknesses that come to that with that. We have unique weaknesses just to us. The way we each move forward will look different. As we work to develop our gifts and address our struggles, we will likely encounter setbacks and obstacles along the way. It is crucial to remember that growth and healing are often gradual processes. We must be patient with ourselves as we navigate these journeys. By remaining open to God's grace and guidance, we can trust He will help us overcome our challenges and grow authentically and then grow in spiritual journey and maturity. We are not alone in this discovery process. Jesus walks right along with us, offering hope and healing. He invites us to trust in His mercy and in His love. He is our strength as we sharpen and learn how to use our gifts. And when we fall or stumble in our struggles, He's right there to help us pick it up. And developing a lasting relationship with Christ is crucial to our service of the kingdom. In the Gospels, we see numerous examples of Jesus reaching out to those suffering physically and spiritually. He healed the sick, forgave the sinners, comforted the grieving. All right, I'm going to read 2 pretty long verses. So just bear with me. Just if you want to close your eyes and listen, or if you need to stare at the beautiful chalk Jesus, do that. As He continued His journey to Jerusalem, He traveled through Samaria and Galilee. As He was entering a village, 10 lepers met Him. They stood at a distance from Him and raised their voice, saying, "Jesus, Master, have pity on us." And when He saw them, He said, "Go, show yourselves to the priest." As they were going, they were cleansed. And the one of them, realizing he had been healed, returned, glorifying God in a loud voice. And he fell to the feet of Jesus and thanked Him. He was a Samaritan. Jesus said in reply, 10 were cleansed, were they not? Where are the other 9? Has none but this foreigner returned to give thanks to God? Then He said to him, "Stand up and go. Your faith has saved you." Then they sailed to the territory of the Gerasenes, which is opposite of Galilee. When He came ashore, a man from the town who was possessed by demons met Him. For a long time he had not worn clothes. He did not live in a house, but lived among the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before Him. In a loud voice he shouted, "What have you to do with me, Jesus, Son of the Most High God? I beg you, do not torment me." For he had ordered the unclean spirit to come out of the man. It had taken hold of him many times, and he used to be bound with chains and shackles as a restraint. But he would break his bonds, and he'd be driven by the demon into the desert places. Then Jesus asked him, "What is your name?" He replied, "Legion," because many demons had entered him. And they pleaded with him not to order them to depart to the abyss. A herd of many swine was feeding there on a hillside, and they pleaded with him to allow them to enter those swine. And he let them. The demons came out of the man and entered the swine, and the herd rushed down the steep bank into the lake and was drowned. When the swineherders saw what had happened, they ran away and reported the incident to the town and throughout the countryside. People came out to see what had happened, and when they approached Jesus, they discovered the man from whom the demons had come out sitting at His feet. He was clothed and in his right mind, and they were seized with fear. Those who witnessed it told them how the possessed man had been saved. The entire population of the region of the Gerasenes asked Jesus to leave them because they were seized with great fear. So he got into a boat and returned. The man from whom the demons had come out begged to remain with him. But he sent him away, saying, "Return home and recount what God has done for you." The man went off and proclaimed throughout the whole town what Jesus had done for him. That's a lot. I know, it's a lot. In each encounter, Jesus demonstrated his unconditional love and mercy for all people, regardless of their past or present circumstances. We're invited to trust in Jesus' love and mercy and bring our struggles to him in prayer. Doing so opens our hearts to receive his grace and allows him to transform our lives. Christ meets us where we are, and he walks along with us, even when we turn from him. We must be vulnerable and share our true selves with him. This might involve admitting our fears, doubts, and insecurities, as well as our hopes, dreams, and aspirations. You will have many opportunities this weekend to open up and be honest with yourself and with Christ. Throughout this weekend, we'll be exploring the theme of authenticity in our relationship with God and with those in our lives. To do this, we must consider the role of honest self-reflection. We will take time to reflect on our own lives, relationships, and experiences to gain a better perspective of our relationship with God. Self-reflection can be a powerful tool for growth, but it requires courage and vulnerability. We must be willing to face our fears, doubts, and failures, as well as our successes and our accomplishments. This weekend, through the other sessions, we will focus on various aspects of our lives, look at the strengths we bring and where we fall short. We will invite God to guide us and help us grow in wisdom. We will have the opportunity to encounter Christ in the sacraments. We will start to equip ourselves for the difficulties that our life is rooted in, that a life in faith can bring, and see the benefits that it has for us as well. We ask that you trust us as we lead you through all of this. To trust that Christ is here walking with you and guiding you as we guide you.